Have you ever felt like someone who once played a big role in your life is slowly slipping away? Maybe at first it felt like just a small change, but deep inside you started to wonder, is this really just coincidence, or is there something more to it? In Islam, we believe that everything happens for a reason, and sometimes Allah removes people from our lives to protect us. It's not always easy to understand, but when you look closely, you will see His wisdom. Today, let's look at 7 signs that Allah is guiding you away from someone for your own good. 1. You start feeling a disconnect. Have you ever felt distant from someone even though they are still around? At first, everything seemed fine, but slowly, you notice that the bond you once shared isn't the same. You no longer connect the way you did before. Allah might be removing this person from your life because you no longer need them. Sometimes, people stay in our lives long after they've stopped adding value, and Allah knows what's best for you. 2. You no longer feel at peace. Peace is a gift from Allah, but when someone brings more chaos than calm into your life, it's a sign Allah might be protecting you. If you feel more anxious, stressed, or drained after spending time with someone, it could be that Allah is showing you the way to step back. When someone is taken from your life, it's often because your peace is more important than holding on to a relationship that causes harm. 3. You feel like you're always walking on eggshells. In every relationship, whether it's with a family member, a friend, or a partner, the goal should be to feel comfortable, safe, and at peace. You should be able to be yourself, express your thoughts and feelings, and not worry about causing upset or tension all the time. But when you start feeling like you're always walking on eggshells around someone, constantly worrying about saying the wrong thing or doing something that will disappoint them, it's a clear sign that something is not right. This constant tension can take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. You might find yourself second-guessing every word or action, wondering if it will lead to an argument or make the person upset. Over time, this can cause anxiety and stress. You may feel like you're not truly being yourself, and that feeling can make you feel isolated or unworthy. The truth is, relationships should build you up, not leave you constantly on edge. When you're in a relationship where you're walking on eggshells, you're not in an environment that supports your peace or growth. Allah, in His mercy, does not want us to be in relationships that harm us or keep us from being the best version of ourselves. When you feel like this in a relationship, it could be a sign that Allah is guiding you away from that person, not as a punishment, but to protect you from ongoing emotional harm. Sometimes, Allah removes people from our lives who make us feel anxious, unsafe, or disrespected. These feelings are signs that the relationship is not healthy for your soul. You deserve to be in relationships that are filled with understanding, respect, and kindness. Relationships that bring peace to your heart. When Allah removes someone from your life, even though it might be painful or confusing at first, trust that He is protecting you. He is guiding you away from something that could hurt you in the long run and making space for something better, something that will bring you peace and healing. In these moments, it's important to remember the example of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who taught us the importance of kindness, respect, and patience in relationships. He was the epitome of peace and understanding in his interactions with others, always treating people with dignity and care. If we follow his example, we too can experience healthier, more peaceful relationships. So, if you find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, feeling anxious or unsettled, trust that Allah's plan is at work. He is protecting your peace and guiding you towards the right relationships, ones that will support your growth, your well-being, and your connection with Him. 4. You are no longer the priority. In any relationship, one of the most important things is feeling valued and appreciated. When you care about someone, you naturally want to show them that you care, and you hope they do the same for you. We all want to feel like we matter to the people around us, whether it's a friend, family member, or partner. When someone truly cares about you, they make the effort to stay in touch, to check in on how you're doing, and to make time for you in their life. It's a natural part of any healthy relationship that both people invest their time and energy to keep the connection strong. But what happens when you start noticing that this person is no longer making an effort? At first, it might be subtle. They might not reach out as often as they used to, or perhaps they start canceling plans or not responding to your messages with the same enthusiasm. Over time, it becomes clear that the effort you once shared is no longer there. They no longer make you feel like a priority in their life. You might begin to feel like you're the only one putting in the work, and that can leave you feeling unimportant and hurt. This shift in behavior can be difficult to understand, especially when you've invested a lot of time and energy into the relationship. It's easy to start wondering if you did something wrong, or if you're somehow unworthy of their attention and care. But the reality is, relationships should be mutual. Both people should put in the effort to nurture the bond. When one person stops prioritizing the other, the relationship becomes one-sided, and it's no longer healthy. It's important to remember that Allah's mercy is always at work in our lives. Sometimes, when someone stops making an effort, it's a sign that they are no longer meant to be in your life. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, may be guiding you away from this relationship, not because the person is bad, but because the relationship is no longer serving your well-being. Allah removes those who no longer show respect or appreciation for you, making space for new relationships that will nurture your soul and help you grow. When someone stops making you a priority, it doesn't mean you're not worthy of love and attention. It simply means that this particular person may no longer be part of your journey. Sometimes, we hold on to relationships out of attachment or fear of being alone. But Allah knows what's best for us. He removes people from our lives to protect us from emotional harm and to create space for better connections that will support our growth and happiness. The pain of realizing that you are no longer a priority can be difficult to handle, especially when it's someone you care deeply about. You might feel confused, betrayed, or even question your own worth. But Allah's plan is always for your good. He knows that you deserve to be surrounded by people who value and appreciate you, not those who make you feel neglected or unimportant. It's His mercy that guides you toward relationships where mutual respect, care, and effort are present. It can be tough to let go, especially when you've been close to someone for a long time, but trust that Allah is guiding you to something better. When He removes someone from your life, it's not a punishment, it's a protection. He is opening the door for relationships that will bring you peace, joy, and fulfillment. Sometimes the people who are meant to be in your life will naturally stay, and those who are not aligned with your journey will fade away. Remember, you deserve to be surrounded by people who respect you, value you, and make you feel loved. Allah's mercy ensures that you are not left alone. He will always guide you to people who truly care for you and who will make you feel like a priority. Trust in Allah's wisdom, even when it's hard to understand at the moment. He is always working behind the scenes, removing what is no longer serving your peace and making space for what will. So, if you find yourself in a situation where someone is no longer prioritizing you, don't hold on to the hurt or confusion. Instead, trust that Allah is guiding you to a better path, one filled with people who truly appreciate and care for you. Allah's mercy is at work, clearing the way for something greater, relationships that will nourish your heart and soul. 5. You start losing your spiritual peace. In life, the most important relationship we can have is with Allah. Our faith is the foundation that helps us navigate every challenge, joy, and sorrow. It is the strength that carries us through the ups and downs of life, and it shapes how we interact with the world around us. Our connection with Allah gives us peace, purpose, and direction. Without it, we lose the true meaning of life and become vulnerable to the struggles and hardships that may come our way. But sometimes, we find ourselves in situations where people or circumstances cause us to drift away from our faith. You might not even realize it at first, but over time, you may start feeling disconnected from Allah, as if the bond you once had with Him is weakening. Your prayers may feel less sincere, your connection with the Quran may seem distant, and the peace you once felt in your heart begins to fade away. This is a serious sign that something in your life is disrupting your spiritual peace. It could be a person, a relationship, or even a situation that is slowly pulling you away from Allah. When this happens, it's important to reflect on what's causing this shift. If someone in your life is influencing you in ways that make it harder to remain close to Allah, it's a clear indication that Allah is protecting you. He may be removing this person from your life to bring you back closer to Him, to restore the peace in your heart that is anchored in faith. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows that our spiritual well-being is essential for our happiness and success in this world and the hereafter. He does not want us to lose sight of our faith, and He will guide us away from anything or anyone that distracts us from Him. Sometimes it is difficult to see why a person is removed from our lives, especially when we have strong emotional ties to them. But Allah's plan is always perfect, and He knows what is best for us. When someone causes us to lose our spiritual peace or leads us away from our faith, Allah may intervene and remove them, not as a punishment, but as an act of mercy. The people around us have a significant influence on our lives, and this includes our spiritual lives. If someone continuously pulls us away from our faith, whether through their words, actions, or behavior, it can have a profound impact on our connection with Allah. For example, you might find yourself spending more time on things that take you away from prayer, or forgetting the importance of religious practices. You might be encouraged to do things that go against your values and beliefs, or even face ridicule for your faith. Over time, these influences can erode your relationship with Allah, making you feel disconnected and lost. However, Allah's mercy never leaves us, even in these moments. If Allah is guiding someone out of your life, trust that it is for your spiritual protection. The people who encourage you to drift away from Allah may not be bad people, but their influence may not be what's best for your soul. Allah knows the struggles you face and the challenges that may weaken your faith, and He will remove these distractions to keep you on the path to righteousness. Remember, Allah has given us the gift of faith to guide us through the storms of life. But just as we are accountable for our actions, we are also responsible for the people we allow into our lives. If someone's presence is slowly eroding your connection with Allah, then it is time to reflect and reconsider whether they should be a part of your journey. Allah's plan for us is always to protect our faith and keep us close to Him, so we must trust that He is always looking out for us. At times, we may feel conflicted or guilty for distancing ourselves from someone, especially if they are close to us. It's natural to want to hold on to relationships, especially when we care about someone. But when these relationships pull us further from Allah, it is important to recognize that Allah is protecting us from harm. Trust that He knows what is best for you, even when it's hard to see it at the moment. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us that our faith is the most precious thing we can have. He emphasized the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who strengthen our faith and bring us closer to Allah. He said, "A person is likely to follow the faith of his friend, so look carefully at who you choose to be friends with." Abu Dawood. This reminder shows us that the people we spend time with play a huge role in our spiritual well-being. If someone causes us to stray from the right path, it's a sign to reassess the relationship. When Allah removes someone from your life, it might be painful, but it's important to trust that He is guiding you back to what truly matters, your relationship with Him. Allah knows that maintaining our spiritual connection is far more valuable than any worldly relationship or attachment. He is clearing the way for something better, people who will bring you closer to Him, and experiences that will strengthen your faith. Trust in Allah's wisdom. When someone in your life causes you to lose your spiritual peace, know that Allah's mercy is guiding you away from them to protect you. He is showing you the way back to Him, to the peace that comes from being close to Allah, to the sense of security and comfort that fills your heart when you turn to Him in prayer. It's important to understand that no matter how much it hurts to let go of someone, Allah will always replace what was lost with something better. Allah will guide you toward people and situations that will support your spiritual growth. People who will encourage you to become a better version of yourself in faith. And while it may be difficult to let go of someone who has been in your life for a long time, remember that Allah's plan is perfect. He has a better path ahead for you, one where you can grow stronger in your connection to Him and find peace and contentment in your faith. So, if you find that someone in your life is causing you to lose your spiritual peace, trust in Allah's protection. Let go of what distracts you from your faith and trust that Allah will guide you back to the path of righteousness. His wisdom is beyond our understanding, and His mercy will always protect us, even when it's hard to let go. Have faith that Allah's plan is always for your ultimate good, and that He is removing what is not meant for you to bring you closer to Him. 6. You constantly feel drained and unseen. In life, relationships are meant to be a source of strength, support, and growth. Whether it's with a friend, family member, or partner, a healthy relationship should make you feel loved, understood, and appreciated. It should be a space where both people uplift each other, encouraging each other to be the best versions of themselves. We should feel empowered in relationships, knowing that the people we care about are there for us, just as we are there for them. However, there are times when relationships start to feel one-sided. You may notice that despite your efforts to be there for someone, whether it's through listening, offering support, or investing your time and energy into them, you feel emotionally drained and exhausted. Instead of feeling energized by the connection, you feel depleted. You may feel like you are always giving, but not receiving the same level of care or attention in return. It might be that despite all your efforts, this person doesn't truly see you or appreciate the sacrifices you make for the relationship. This feeling of being emotionally drained and unseen can be incredibly difficult to deal with. At first, it might be small things. Maybe they don't acknowledge your needs, or perhaps they take your efforts for granted. Over time, however, this imbalance becomes more noticeable, and it starts to affect your well-being. You might start questioning yourself, wondering if you're doing something wrong, or if you just need to try harder. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you are somehow not good enough, or that you're simply not putting in enough effort. But this constant emotional exhaustion is a sign that something is not right. And it's a sign that Allah may be guiding you away from this person. Allah, in His infinite mercy, does not want us to remain in relationships that harm us or prevent us from growing spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Relationships that drain us or make us feel invisible are not healthy, and Allah knows what's best for us. If you constantly feel exhausted, overlooked, or undervalued, it's a clear sign that Allah is protecting you by removing this person from your life. He is guiding you to step away from a relationship that is not contributing positively to your well-being, and to make space for relationships that will nurture you, help you grow, and bring peace to your heart. In these moments, it's important to recognize that you deserve to be in relationships where the love, effort, and care are mutual. You deserve to feel seen, appreciated, and understood. A healthy relationship should not only bring happiness, but it should also make you feel emotionally supported, validated, and cherished. When you are constantly giving and not receiving in return, the emotional toll can be overwhelming. It can make you feel isolated, unimportant, and as though your needs and feelings don't matter. This kind of imbalance in a relationship can also affect your connection with Allah. When you feel drained and unseen in your relationships, it can make it harder to maintain peace in your heart and to stay connected with your faith. Allah wants us to be in relationships that encourage us to grow closer to Him, not relationships that pull us away from Him or leave us in a constant state of emotional turmoil. By removing someone who takes more than they give, Allah is protecting your peace of mind, your spiritual well-being, and your emotional health. Sometimes, it's easy to stay in a relationship out of obligation, guilt, or fear of being alone. You might feel like you've invested so much time and energy into the relationship that letting go feels like a failure or a loss. But when Allah removes someone from your life, it's not a punishment. It's an act of mercy. He is giving you the opportunity to find peace, to heal, and to focus on relationships that will truly uplift you. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who bring us closer to Allah and who treat us with kindness, respect, and love. He said, "The example of a good companion is like that of a seller of musk. Either he gives you some, or you buy it, or you enjoy its good smell." Sahih Bukhari. A good companion, like the seller of musk, will always uplift you, whether through their words, actions, or presence. They will make your life better and help you grow. In contrast, someone who constantly drains you without giving anything in return is not fulfilling the role of a true companion. Trust that when Allah removes someone from your life, He is making space for better relationships. Relationships where love, effort, and support flow both ways. Sometimes, letting go is necessary for our emotional and spiritual growth. It may be painful at first, especially if the person has been in your life for a long time, but Allah's wisdom is always perfect. He knows that your heart deserves peace, and He knows that you need to be surrounded by people who help you grow, not people who leave you feeling empty. When Allah removes someone from your life, trust that He is protecting your emotional well-being and guiding you toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships. The people you allow into your life should uplift you, help you become a better person, and bring you closer to Allah. If someone is draining you, it is Allah's mercy that He is stepping in to remove that negative influence so you can heal, grow, and find peace. It's important to understand that just because someone has been in your life for a long time doesn't mean they're meant to stay. People come and go, and sometimes Allah removes certain relationships to protect us from emotional harm, to help us become stronger, and to guide us towards something better. In the end, it's not about holding on to relationships that no longer serve us, but about trusting Allah's plan for our lives. He will always provide what is best for us, even if it doesn't seem clear at the time. So, if you find yourself in a relationship where you feel constantly drained, unseen, or unappreciated, trust that Allah's plan is at work. Let go of the relationship and trust that Allah will guide you to better, more supportive connections. You deserve to be surrounded by people who help you grow, love you for who you are, and make you feel at peace. Allah's mercy is always at work, and His wisdom will lead you toward relationships that are healthy, uplifting, and filled with love. 7. You feel relief when they're gone. In life, we often find ourselves attached to certain people, whether family, friends, or even romantic partners, believing that their presence is essential for our happiness and well-being. It's natural to hold on to these relationships, even when they are no longer healthy or fulfilling. We invest so much time, energy, and love into these connections that we might feel guilty or afraid to let go, even when it becomes clear that they no longer serve our growth or happiness. However, sometimes, when a relationship ends or someone is removed from our life, we experience something surprising, a sense of relief. At first, this feeling may seem confusing, especially if the relationship had once been meaningful to us. We might expect to feel sadness or grief, but instead, there is an overwhelming sense of lightness and peace. We feel freer, as though a weight has been lifted from our hearts and minds. This sense of relief is often one of the most obvious signs that Allah is removing someone from our life for a reason, because it's no longer meant to be there. When we feel this relief, it's important to recognize that it's not just a physical or emotional release, but a spiritual one as well. Allah's mercy is at work in these moments, and the relief you feel is a sign that He is guiding you towards something better. Sometimes, we become so attached to relationships that are not good for us that we can't see the harm they are causing until they are gone. The moment they are removed, we finally realize how much emotional, mental, and even spiritual space they were occupying in our lives. This space is now open for something better, something that will help us grow, heal, and find true peace. It's easy to feel a sense of loss when someone leaves your life, especially if that person was once close to you. We may feel like we've lost something valuable, and the fear of loneliness or the unknown can make us hesitant to move forward. However, Allah is always looking out for us, even when we can't see it. When He removes someone from our life, He is not doing so to punish us, but to protect us. He knows that the relationship no longer serves our well-being and is clearing the way for something far better, something that will bring us closer to Him and help us grow spiritually and emotionally. This sense of freedom that comes with letting go is not just a temporary feeling. It's the beginning of a new chapter in your life, one where you are no longer weighed down by negativity or unhealthy attachments. Allah is clearing your path, removing obstacles that were preventing you from moving forward. This is a form of divine mercy. Allah knows that when one door closes, another opens, a door that leads to greater peace, happiness, and fulfillment. The relief you feel is a sign that you are now walking the path that Allah has set for you, a path that will lead you to what is truly good for your soul. There may be times when you feel guilty about the relief you experience after someone is removed from your life. You may wonder if you should have fought harder to maintain the relationship, or if you are being ungrateful for the time you shared with them. But it's important to understand that Allah's plan is perfect, and His wisdom is far greater than our own understanding. If someone's presence was causing you harm, whether emotionally, spiritually, or mentally, Allah, in His mercy, is removing that burden from you. He is guiding you toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships and experiences that will nurture your heart and soul. In these moments, trust that Allah is protecting you from further harm. It's natural to grieve the loss of any relationship, but it's also important to embrace the peace that follows. Allah is making room for growth and new opportunities. The sense of relief you feel is a sign that you are now free to explore the possibilities that lie ahead, without the weight of negativity holding you back. Allah is giving you the chance to focus on yourself, to heal, and to connect with those who will support you on your journey toward peace and spiritual fulfillment. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us to trust in Allah's plan, even in the most challenging of times. He reminded us that Allah is always with us, guiding us through life's trials and tribulations. He said, "What has befallen you was never meant to miss you, and what has missed you was never meant to befall you." Sahih Muslim. This reminds us that everything that happens, even the removal of people from our lives, is part of Allah's divine plan. We may not always understand why things happen, but we must trust that Allah knows what is best for us. When you feel that sense of relief after someone leaves your life, remember that this is a sign of Allah's mercy. He is clearing your path for something better, something that will bring you peace, growth, and fulfillment. Don't be afraid to let go of relationships that are not aligned with your well-being or spiritual growth. Trust that Allah will always guide you toward what is best for your heart and soul. The peace you feel when someone is no longer in your life is not just a fleeting emotion. It's a sign that you are moving toward a brighter, more peaceful future. Allah is making room for new beginnings, new relationships, and new opportunities that will support your growth and bring you closer to Him. In these moments, trust in Allah's plan and embrace the freedom that comes with letting go. When one door closes, Allah opens another, one that will bring you the peace and fulfillment that you deserve. So, if you ever find yourself feeling a sense of relief when someone is no longer in your life, take a moment to reflect on the blessings that are now unfolding. Trust that Allah is guiding you towards something better. The relief you feel is a sign that Allah is protecting you, clearing the way for new opportunities and leading you to a future filled with peace, happiness, and spiritual growth. Let go of what no longer serves you and trust in Allah's plan. He always knows what is best for you, and He is always with you, guiding you toward the life He has destined for you. Letting go is one of the most difficult things we can face in life. Whether it's letting go of a relationship, a friendship, a job, or even a dream we've held onto for years, the process of release can bring up a range of emotions: sadness, fear, uncertainty, and sometimes guilt. We may hold on to people or situations because we fear the unknown, or because we've invested so much of ourselves that letting go feels like we are losing a part of who we are. It's easy to think that holding on to what we know is safer than stepping into the unknown, but often, letting go is the most powerful and beneficial choice we can make for our peace of mind and spiritual well-being. In Islam, we believe that everything happens by the will and wisdom of Allah. He is the best of planners, and His guidance is always leading us toward what is best for us, even if we don't understand His plan right away. Sometimes, the very thing we are holding on to so tightly, whether it be a relationship, a situation, or even an expectation, is the very thing that is preventing us from moving forward. Allah, in His infinite mercy, removes things from our lives not as a punishment, but as a way of protecting us and guiding us toward a better path. It's important to recognize that when Allah removes someone or something from your life, it is often a blessing in disguise. At first, it may not feel like it. You might feel pain, confusion, and loss. You may wonder why something that seemed so important to you is being taken away. But Allah knows what is best for us, even when we don't understand it. His wisdom is beyond our comprehension, and He is always working in ways that will bring us closer to peace, happiness, and spiritual fulfillment. When we are in the midst of a challenging situation, it's difficult to see the bigger picture. We may not understand why things are happening the way they are, and we may struggle with feelings of doubt or despair. But in those moments, we must remind ourselves to trust in Allah's plan. Allah, in His mercy, knows exactly what we need. Sometimes, He removes people from our lives because they no longer align with the person He wants us to become. Other times, He may be protecting us from harm or from situations that would hinder our growth or spiritual progress. Trusting in Allah's plan means accepting that His will is always for our greater good, even when it is hard to see it. It means believing that every difficulty, every moment of pain, is part of a larger journey that leads to peace and fulfillment. Allah promises that He will never burden us with more than we can bear, and He will always provide what we need to overcome our struggles. The challenges we face are not meant to break us, but to refine us, to strengthen our faith, and to teach us valuable lessons that will shape our future. When we let go, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and experiences. We allow space for new relationships, new blessings, and new growth. Allah is always making room for what is better, even when we are not ready to let go of what we have. The relationships, situations, and opportunities that He brings into our lives will be the ones that help us grow closer to Him, help us live in alignment with His will, and bring us true peace. One of the most beautiful things about trusting in Allah's plan is knowing that He is always protecting us. Even when we feel lost or uncertain, Allah's protection is never far away. His mercy covers us at every moment, guiding us through difficulties and leading us to what is best for us. When someone or something is removed from our life, it is a form of Allah's protection. He is guiding us toward a life filled with peace, spiritual growth, and healthy, uplifting relationships. Relationships that nourish our souls, support our faith, and help us grow into the people He has created us to be. Letting go also means letting go of our attachment to expectations. We may have an idea of how we want our lives to look, or we may hold on to certain outcomes that we think will bring us happiness. But often, these expectations are based on our limited understanding of what is truly good for us. When we let go of these expectations and trust in Allah's plan, we open ourselves up to the possibility of something far greater than what we had imagined. Allah knows what will bring us true joy, peace, and fulfillment. And by trusting in Him, we allow ourselves to experience the blessings He has prepared for us. It is not easy to let go, and it is natural to feel the pain of loss. But we must remember that this pain is temporary. What Allah has in store for us is far greater than anything we could lose. He promises that when we trust in His plan, when we release what no longer serves us, He will bring us something better. Allah's mercy and wisdom are guiding us to a future where our hearts will be at peace, our spirits will be at ease, and our relationships will be healthy and fulfilling. So, if you find yourself struggling with letting go, trust that Allah is guiding you to something better. Trust that He knows what is best for you, even when you don't understand it. His plan is always for your greater good. Let go of what is no longer serving your peace, your growth, or your spiritual well-being. Trust in Allah's wisdom and embrace the protection He is offering you. When one door closes, Allah opens another, one that leads to peace, spiritual growth, and a life filled with blessings. Let go, knowing that Allah is always looking out for you, and that His plan will bring you everything you need to live a life filled with peace, joy, and fulfillment. Trust in Him and believe that what is meant for you will never pass you by.